Previously, we looked at C++ repetition structure using the while loop. Well, C++ has another repetition structure, the for loop. The for loop is usually referred to as a counting loop. That is because it's usually designed to run a set number of times. So let's look at a basic structure as how we would write our for loop. We're going to specify for, and then inside our for definition, we actually have three separate sections. So we're going to have, for example, something like int I equals 0. Here we're declaring our variable that we're going to use inside of our for loop. And this is going to be important because this is most likely how you're going to write a for loop and increment this value throughout the process of the body. Now, how many times do we want to run? That's what we're going to specify second in our conditional section. So we'll say something like I less than 10. Because we start at 0, we use the less than symbol, and that will give us 10 implementations. Finally, we have our post loop, or what's going to happen after the loop. And this is also something that's referred to as our variable modifier section, because we're going to modify our counting variable that we use for our for loop. And we'll specify something like I++. That's going to increment the value of I by 1. We've already looked at that in previous videos. Let's go for our for body. Once again, in C++, the braces are not required. However, as a matter of good form and reducing the chances of problems and mistakes in your code, use them is highly encouraged, as is indenting the lines for the body of your for loop. That way, it's easier to identify what elements goes with your for loop. For this example, we'll just use a cout statement and display our incrementer value. If I go and run this file, it's going to come up with the numbers between 0 and 9. That's because I started at 0 and continued to run while it was less than 10. Once it got to 10, it stopped running. A for loop is very beneficial anytime we have a set number of values, for example, like this, or if we want to run it over the length of an array, which we'll see in a future video when we start working with arrays of data.